first day of class, you can go ahead to the next slide. The first day of class, I drew the stick number 5, and it was interprofessionals. I was really, really bummed out because that seems like the hardest one. I was like, okay, what kind of group falls underneath interprofessional? Like, what even is that? I really was looking forward to doing like early childhood or young adult or something. So started thinking, and I was like, maybe a daycare. And so that was my first choice, was to do a daycare, because around my area where I planned on presenting, oral health isn't really like a priority to anybody. When I was in school, we never did like dental days, or nobody ever taught us how to brush our teeth, like nothing like that. So I called a couple of daycares, and they never could give me a direct like yes or no. So I decided to go to the Head Start at New Boston. And so I called Head Start, and she was like, yes, we would love for y'all to go. Come talk to us. And so I sent my questionnaire out, because my original plan was to present over nutrition and how it relates to a child's oral cavity and the effects like that it can have on. So I was like, okay, this is going to be great. It's going to be super, super easy and fun. So I sent my questionnaire out asking like what kind of food they served at lunch, what kind of snacks, if they ever do, we wiggle my mouse, if they ever brush their kids' teeth at school, and if the kids have dental insurance, stuff like that. And when she sent it back, they served like, it was like the most perfect answers you could ever like imagine. They served a protein, a fruit, a vegetable, and water at lunch. And their snacks was a cup of fruit and milk, like out of all things, milk. And so they also brush their kids' teeth once a day after breakfast. And every kid has dental insurance, and every kid has been to the dentist at least once out of all the Head Start kids. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I even going to go talk to these people about that they already don't know? They probably know more about it than I do. I'm going to go and look like a fool. So the week that I was supposed to go, I had all my project done, all the assignments we had done up until that point, and I called the Hamptons because I wanted to change my group entirely the week before and go talk to the memory care loss workers at the Hamptons. And so I called them, left a message for the director. They said she'd get back with me. They probably would love for us to come. So I redid my whole presentation, every assignment that we had done up until that point. And so I had a presentation for the Hamptons and a presentation for Head Start. But I plan on going to the Hamptons because I just feel like it would have been a better experience in my head at that time. And so the Wednesday before that Friday we were going to go to Head Start, Hamptons called and told me that we could not go. They would never have a time that we could speak to their workers. So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to make a presentation to talk to these Head Start people about I don't know what. So then I got to thinking, and so I decided to hit a little bit of nutrition. You can go to the next one. You can go to the next one probably. This is just where I went and started. This is pictures of them. Okay. And so my presentation, I decided to hit the basis of nutrition because I feel like they already knew most of it. And tooth formation, like when our teeth begin forming, when they are affected, and then a little bit of fluoride and child's oral hygiene routine, because if they do brush their kids' teeth at school, they need to be doing it the correct method. That way the kid can go home and do it right at home too. So we go in there, and there was exactly 8 workers, including the janitor that day. And so I just had 8 people, and they looked at me, and I told the director, I was like, it's probably going to be a pretty quick presentation. It's not going to take that long. And she was like, good, because we're ready to go home. And I was like, immediately felt very unwelcome and like, okay, they're not really into this. They're just doing it because they didn't want to reject me. And so I go to present, and she has no overhead projector. Like nothing like this, so I just have my computer in my hand going through my slideshow. Nobody can see it, and it's embarrassing, and I hate public speaking, so I flew through it just like this. And it didn't go as planned, but it went good, and they were very interested in how our teeth begin forming in the womb, because most of them thought that it was different for each child, or it was like 2 to 4 months of like birth, that kind of thing. And then they also thought it was very interesting that what a mother ingested or ate could affect the oral cavity, like we talked about tetracycline and congenital syphilis, stuff like that. So they were very interested in that, so that's really good. And they also, none of them knew the correct brushing methods. So even though they were brushing their kids' teeth once a day, which is better than nothing, we wiggle that, they weren't teaching the right things. So we taught them the Phones method, circular, and then taught them all the rest of the things. And so everybody made 100 on the post-test. So it ended up going better than I thought it was at the beginning of the whole presentation. So that's kind of my little experience with Head Start and my whole project presentation. You can go to the next one. That's just talking about my pre-test, post-test. Okay, you can go to the next one. And this is my experience. I just went over that about how they were interested in that kind of stuff. And then one more. Okay, so my favorite experience, of course, was with early childhood. This was something I did after we met for the first time in community. I went that Friday and talked to my aunt's class. They were a group of third graders. And I liked this because they were like super enthusiastic about the whole thing. They were really interested in it, and they loved it so much. So a little experience that I had with them that's funny that I'll never forget, and it's kind of embarrassing now that I think about it, but we did stations, and my station was to disclose them and then let them brush their teeth. You know, they see it pink and purple and then brush it off. And they were super excited to do it. I did it on the first girl, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, I want my teeth purple, I want my teeth purple. So we did it like 3 different times. And I wasn't very prepared. I didn't have cups, and I had disclose it, not tabs, which I don't recommend. And so after my first station moved on, I realized that I had used the same Q-tip for every kid. And so I had stuck the same Q-tip in 5 different kids' mouth over and over again, and I was like, oh my gosh, that broke infection control like majorly. So anyways, that's my funny story, and I would not recommend using disclosing. Use disclosing tabs, and just be prepared and be ready for whatever happens to you the day that you present. So anyways, yep. Woo!